Hi, here to talk with you very briefly about week 5 in English 4320 in our Writing for Nonprofits course. First and foremost, 2 thumbs up. Overall, a couple people have had a few struggles, but for the most part I've been really pleased with the quality of y'all's work. And yes, I will defend, as a native Texan, y'all's the second person plural. Every language in the world has it but English, but that's another story. But the work's been good. The stuff for the first portfolio, the writing within your organization, I think most people have the essential points, the essential ideas about what's necessary for that. And as we work through finishing up, turning in the final portfolios and moving on to the second portfolio, I just want to say good job, keep it up. A lot of people have been asking questions, and I'm glad to answer those either by phone, by email. And if you have questions, just let me know. I'd like to keep those lines of communication open. But now we're moving into, and we've already moved into, the writing for the media, managing the organization's public presence within the media, and I think that's very important. We've turned in our drafts for the public service announcements, and several people have told me that's hard. And I gotta say, I agree. That is probably the most difficult kinds of writing I've ever done in my life, trying to get those key important bits of information out in a 30-second soundbite. Very difficult. Then thinking about the images, if you're writing for television, it's a tough road to hoe, and I think based on the drafts that I've looked at, I think we're in good shape. But as we move into this discussion of press releases, which is a genre kind of writing where an organization issues statements that tries to manage its presence, we're going to focus on using them to promote events. But I did want to make you aware of their use in managing the way the public perceives an organization. And the reason I mention this is because the last 2 times I have taught this class, there's been a major controversy which has wound up either bringing down an organization or greatly damaging the public perception of the organization as well. I'm going to focus right now my comments on the events in the spring of 2016 surrounding the Wounded Warrior Project. Now, I think regardless of people's affiliations, I think most people in our country respect the military. I think they respect people who have served, and I think that they feel those who have been injured in the service of our country deserve respect and support. And for that reason, the Wounded Warrior Project has been one of the most highly respected nonprofit agencies in our country, or it was up until about February, when a series of events began to suggest that monies that were being given to the Wounded Warrior Project were being spent extravagantly. Big parties, salaries that were perhaps in keeping with a salary appropriate for a big, highly profitable multinational corporation, but maybe not for somebody who runs a charity. Misuse of funds, things like that. And this spun out over a series of weeks in February and in early March. And without going through all of the events that were there, because I'm going to actually have you look at a series of press releases that talk about it, it ultimately wound up in 2 things happening. One, the entire senior leadership of the Wounded Warrior Project being fired / let go / allowed to resign. And second, the damaging of the Wounded Warrior Project's reputation. And a lot of things happened there, and one might argue that the approach the Wounded Warrior Project took which was essentially to run itself like a for-profit corporation, was good because it greatly increased revenue for the organization, greatly expanded its visibility. But my point is that the way the Wounded Warrior Project handled its public appearance, handled its public presence within the media, didn't help the organization. Similar happened. A similar event happened in spring of 2012 with the Susan B. Komen Foundation, the Breast Awareness Foundation. They're the people who do the pink ribbons. And if you want to go back and look at that, that was another event in which a series of revelations about them and their political stance and some of the things that they did came out. And for a very long period of time, the Susan B. Komen Foundation didn't respond, and that let the critics control the message about the foundation to the point that you don't hear the term Susan B. Komen Foundation anymore. You might see the little pink ribbons for breast cancer awareness, but I don't know if you've noticed, you don't hear that much about the organization. You don't hear that much about breast cancer awareness as you used to, and a lot of it is because of the organization mishandling its media presence when a controversy came up. So we're going to be looking at some of that stuff, and I just wanted to make you aware that this information really has consequences in the real world for an organization. Anyway, appreciate your time and keep up the good work. We'll be seeing you, or at least reading from you. Thanks. Bye-bye.